Okay, so how we're gonna start this is introductions. So you don't have to say a fun fact, you don't have to say your name even. You get to say whatever you want. So we can just go around the room, starting with Chris, unless he doesn't want his name to be Chris. You can literally, this is your chance to just introduce yourself in any way that you want. Our job, and especially my job, to think of the other perspective. This is only a 5 to 15 minute, hopefully, case for you guys. I mean, you get pulled over, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, things either go well or they go bad, and then it's over. And you're supposed to deal with the repercussions of that, and so are they. So why even put the pressure on yourself to be that angry if we can train you not to be while still being able to maintain the anger you deserve, if that makes sense? Do we have any questions about that? Humanity, civility. It's called Choosing Civility. It's by P.M. Forney. April 11th is a Thursday. It's coming up. It's called the Day of Civility. There will be several events. CL is working on House Divided, which is a political event where they talk about different topics from each side. But pretty much the communication department is dedicated to civility. If you walk anywhere in that communication department, you can find that book, I'm sure. So if you are interested and you don't even want to buy it, you can let me know. Or even Google the principles of civility. You feel like I sat in a room where I was taught civility and I couldn't imagine why I was being taught civility. Because my mom has taught me civility. We are good people and we think we're good people, but you can always be a better person. And if I've learned anything at Frostburg State University, that's the best thing I've learned. So now we're going to take the skills and the strengths you've used to personalize how you can best communicate with an officer. So for example, perspective is that when cops pull over, it's not on good ground. So we're already, when a cop pulls us over, we're pretty frustrated. We're going to be late, and a lot of us are scared. So there's that emotion. One of the biggest things we're going to be working on is civility and working on feelings. Because when you get pulled over by a cop, it's really hard to check in logic. And it's really hard to take a step back and realize that this is not the end of the world. Hopefully it's not the end of the world, though it should be understood that it can be if you do it wrong. And so we can go ahead and flip to the second page, and we're going to be talking about your skills and your strengths. So your strengths are like your inner core, your inner being, confidence, beauty, things like that. Your skills are things that you can use in everyday life. You're a problem solver, you're a hard worker, or you're good with communication. So if you could write down 5 positive skills and 5 positive strengths that you think you could use towards interactions with officers. Does anybody, even if you have one and you're not quite sure how it connects, I can definitely help you. So if you guys have anything where you know of one that you can use, you can share that as well.
One of my strengths is I'm give off bad vibes. So I guess in a way that's a strength, especially communicating with
No, that's really good because it's charm. You got a little bit of charm on your side. Yeah. That's good. Then you can go down the steps. Yeah. No, that's one of the most important parts of dealing with an officer is there's not really optimism in any part of that context. There's never a moment where an officer and good vibes go hand in hand. Typically, it's an officer trying to handle something. So it's really good that you can walk in with that mindset. Anybody else? No. And that's fine. You don't have to share at all. This is really just for you to take a second to think about your skills and your strengths. And when you're sitting in that car with those lights flashing behind you, you can take a second and remember those and see how you can use those in your daily interactions with officers. So because of time, we're going to try and go as fast as we can. We started late, but Typically, because I want to skip past, we're going to skip your goal, but typically what I would want you to do is write a goal on what's your goal when you talk to an officer. So you can do this in your free time if you're giving me your packet, which would be amazing. You don't have to worry about finishing it, but your goal is something you want to think about is what do you want when an officer starts approaching you? You have to think, what do you want out of this? You want to get out safely. That's your goal. And now I'm asking you guys to have your goal be, I want to go out safely and I want to have effective communication. These people pulling you over are people too. I am so bad at remembering that Republicans are people too and that police officers are people too. But if you can take that second to write something positive as your goal, that would be really effective. So we're going to go through, really this package's just going to be something that you guys can write, jot down, just because of time. I know certain people have to leave. But we have a best case scenario and a worst case scenario here. So we've got the best case scenario, worst case. This is where you can draw what you think is your best case scenario and what you think is your worst case scenario. You mentioned that one of your biggest skills is that you have, you're optimistic. So your worst case scenario might be really hard for you to write down, but we're also really good at seeing the worst case scenario on a day-to-day basis. So it really depends on what you think, how it should go, how the steps should go. And as you guys write that, I'm going to, or draw that, or whichever way you want to do it, I'll go over the steps with you guys. So don't feel any rush, just kind of, it's like coloring. If you feel like doing it while I'm talking, I know it's really hard to listen, especially this late, and not do something at the same time. It's really hard to focus past like 4 o'clock, and I get that. So I have worked really hard on finding foundational steps by talking to officers, by talking to peers, by getting pulled over myself. I have talked to military officers, I've talked to teachers, and these are the steps that we have put together. Step 1 is remain calm. Feelings, check your feelings. This is even important for arguments. This is interpersonal. How many of you have dealt with an annoying boyfriend or girlfriend? The biggest thing you should do when you first have an argument is check your feelings. Use logic over your feelings. That's a reason why multiple conflicts happen. If you can remain calm before something goes, even if something's about to have good, don't have any expectations. I just remain calm. 2, turn on your media or your phone if necessary. These rules are on the last page of your packet, by the way, if you ever don't forget. But turn your phone on if necessary. You don't have to have it in their face. All you have to do is turn it on yourself about a foot away from you and turn it like this. It should literally be right where your wheel is so that you can turn it this way. They can see your hands, and that way you're not being uncivil, you're just being precautious. And that, if you shove a phone in someone's face, how do you think you'd feel? Because I'm telling you, I would smack somebody so hard if they threw a phone in my face. And they do pretty good at not reacting for being seen as villains, I gotta say. Good or bad, I couldn't do what they do. I couldn't. And so I do have a level of respect for that. So only turn your phone off if necessary. This is one of those steps where you pull it out, as things start to progress, if things start getting out of hand, that's one of the things you pull out as one of your emergency tools. 3, your name, state your name, your age, and where your license and registration are. Before, everyone thinks because it's in the glove compartment, that's fine. When you get pulled over, don't move. Don't move. You want to state, my name is Tessa, I'm 22 years old, my license and registration are in the glove compartment, do you mind if I get them? By stating your name and your age, you just made a personal contact with the officer. They see you as a person now. You don't have to state your name or age, but it shows that you are presenting a real person. I am a person with a job and feelings and fear and a family and friends. And if there are any weapons in your car, I had a pocket knife one time, I got pulled over, it was in the back of my car, in a suitcase, like in a bag, but I had to say it, because if one thing led to another and I got searched, I would be in jail. So if you have any types, even a pocket knife, please let them know and tell them where it is. State every single move you make to the officer. You have to sneeze, say, "Officer, I'm about to sneeze." If you have to go take a shit, you better go tell your officer, "I'm about to go take a shit." If you breathe, tell the officer you're breathing. Like, at this point, tell the officer everything. Absolutely everything. And do so with the utmost respect. It's hard to be respectful when you don't have respect. It's a skill. It's a skill that I have, luckily, because, when you live with military people, that's what you learn. Respect when you don't have respect. This is something that's really cool, and I feel like it's obvious, and probably shouldn't be saying it out loud, but nobody knows what you're thinking right now, at all. And the officer doesn't know what you're thinking. I can be cussing you guys out so much right now, and you wouldn't even know it, because I'm being respectful, and I'm being civil. Luckily, I'm not. But you can do that. Your officer can't read your mind. And this officer can't tell you what to do when he leaves. Cuss and scream all you want when he leaves. Lose your crap. But just stay calm and be respectful in that matter. Number 5, please try to remain calm. I know you guys have to leave, so if you want to, don't worry about the noise or anything. Number 6 is civility and cooperation. That's something we've had shoved down our throats so many times. Civility, and cooperation. So being nice. We've talked about this, doing what you're supposed to do. And number 7, continue to cooperate and apologize if needed. Only apologize if you absolutely need to, and continue to cooperate. Before you guys go, I do want to give you these are, there you go, statements to the police. Thank you. And this is basically saying, do you have a paper? That if you are too scared or you're too anxious, you have one. And you can whip this bad boy out. You don't have to talk to the police officer at all. Yep. This can be in your car. This can be in your backpack. All you have to do is show them this nice, wonderful piece of paper, and you have the right to remain silent. Many officers will fight with you on this, but all you have to do is hand them this and be absolutely quiet. And tell them, you can wait for a lawyer to be present. It's that easy. If you're scared of officers, or if you have anxiety, you've had a really rough day, and you're about to cry because you broke your pencil, and it's just like the last straw, and then you get pulled over. I don't know about you, but I would definitely whip this out at that point. Only use these if you absolutely have to. It's kind of like the phone. You don't want to just toss a piece of paper in somebody's face and call it a day. This is one of those things where you hand that to them, and they can see in your eyes that you cannot right now. You can't. Which brings me to another tip. Let them see the emotions in your eyes. I take my glasses off. If they can see tears in your eyes, it really helps. So if you don't hold back tears, don't hold back. If you're scared of that officer coming in, I would take a deep breath and I'd just let the tears flow. Let them see the pain. If they see it, they see that you're a human being. So we can go on to, let's see, we have the best case scenario plans. We've got worst case scenario plans. So what are your guys' thoughts about this? Has this helped at all? Has this not helped? Where do we go from here? At this point, this is like a self-reflection type. The I think is where you would fill that out. But since it's just us, we can talk about it.